Freedom sounds beautiful from a distance. We imagine open roads, new beginnings, unlocked doors, the power to choose who we become. But when freedom comes close, it often feels less like a gift and more like weight. Because freedom means responsibility. It means there may not be anyone else to blame forever. That is why some people secretly prefer the cage they complain about. The cage is painful, but it gives them an explanation. It gives them a villain. It lets them say, "I cannot." And sometimes they are right. Some cages are real. Poverty can be real. Family pressure can be real. Illness can be real. Debt, trauma, immigration, obligation, social expectations, these are not imaginary. We should never insult people by pretending every life has the same freedom. But sometimes, even inside real limits, there is one choice we do not want to admit belongs to us, and that choice frightens us. A person says, "I hate this job." But underneath, maybe the deeper sentence is, "I am afraid of what happens if I leave." A person says, "I cannot start," but underneath it may be, "If I try and fail, I lose the fantasy that I could have been great." A person says, "This is just who I am." But maybe underneath it is, "Changing would make me responsible for the person I become next." Freedom is heavy because it removes some of our excuses. It places the question back into our hands. What will you do with the part of life that is still yours? Not all of life is yours. That is important. You did not choose your childhood. You did not choose every wound. You did not choose every unfairness. You did not choose every loss that arrived without permission. But somewhere, maybe small, maybe wounded, maybe buried under years of fear, there is still a place where response is possible. And that place is terrifying. Because if you can respond, then you are not only a victim of life, you are also a participant. This does not mean blaming yourself for everything. Responsibility is not the same as guilt. Guilt says, "Everything is my fault." Responsibility says, "The next step is still mine." A storm may not be your fault, but how you rebuild after the storm will still ask something from you. A betrayal may not be your fault, but whether you become bitter forever, whether you learn, whether you protect your dignity, whether you love again carefully, those choices will still ask for your participation. A painful childhood may not be your fault, but becoming the adult who repeats the same damage or stops it somewhere, that responsibility may eventually come to your door. Freedom is not the absence of limits. Freedom is the burden of choosing within them. This is why indecision can feel strangely comfortable. When you do not choose, you can imagine all possible lives remain open. You can still tell yourself that one day you might become this or that. The dream remains perfect because reality has not tested it. But not choosing is also a choice. Waiting shapes a life too. Avoiding the decision does not keep you neutral. It slowly decides for you. The job continues. The relationship continues. The habit continues. The years continue. And one day you realize the life you did not choose consciously has chosen itself through your avoidance. That realization hurts, but it can also wake you up. The anxiety of choice is real. To choose one path is to lose another. Every serious decision kills a fantasy. If you commit to one life, you must grieve the other lives you will not live. This is part of why freedom hurts. We want certainty before choosing, but certainty often comes only after movement. We want guarantees, but life does not offer them. We want the path that hurts no one, risks nothing, costs nothing, and still gives us everything. That path is usually imaginary. A real choice will ask for sacrifice. It may disappoint someone. It may expose you. It may force you to stop seeing yourself as the person who could have done something and become the person who actually tries. Trying is dangerous because trying creates evidence, but so does never trying. Never trying creates the evidence of a life protected from failure, but not from regret. Think about someone who spends years saying, "I could start a business if I wanted to." As long as they never start, the dream remains perfect. No customers reject it. No mistakes expose them. No one can prove whether they are capable or not. But eventually, the fantasy becomes heavy. It is no longer inspiration. It becomes a private accusation. Or think about someone who knows they need a difficult conversation. They avoid it because they do not want conflict. But silence does not remove the problem. It only moves the conflict inside the body. The stomach tightens. The sleep gets worse. The resentment grows. Avoiding the choice becomes its own kind of suffering. So the question is not, how do I choose without fear? The better question is, what choice can I respect even if I am afraid? Maybe your next free act is not dramatic. Maybe it is telling the truth in one conversation. Maybe it is applying for something. Maybe it is ending something honestly. Maybe it is no longer blaming your entire life on people who hurt you, while still refusing to let them write the rest of your story. Maybe it is waking up and saying, "I did not choose everything that happened to me, but I will choose what I do with the part that remains." That is not easy. It may be one of the heaviest forms of adulthood. But there is dignity in it. The cage may feel safe because it has walls, but walls also limit the sky. At some point, every person must ask whether the pain of staying has become greater than the fear of choosing. Freedom is heavy, but so is the life you live when you refuse it. Please put in the comments, what choice are you avoiding because it would make you responsible?